Morning and hello, or afternoon or evening. It's the United Stand Transfer Review weekly. We do this every Sunday, but massive stories from throughout the week, really. And first of all, I just want to say this is quite an interesting thing to start off with. We'll start with the credible things first of all, the things that we think as the United Stand are going to happen. But an interesting fact, I've just been told by Alex, and it is credible, I've just checked it, is that across the whole of Europe last year, the top player in Europe to get the most man of the matches was Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Could be coming to Manchester United. Granted, playing in quite a weak French league. You know one who came second? Mkhitaryan, another player, could be potentially be coming to Manchester United. So a nice little stat there. But we'll start off with the credible stuff, like I say. What's going on in the papers? Well, last night, for those of you followers on Twitter or follow DiMarzio on Twitter, the man who said that Mourinho would be coming to Manchester United 2 or 3 months before anybody else, he's basically said that Mkhitaryan, as we've been saying for a few days now, they're just working through the finer details. That deal is going to happen. Zlatan could happen as early as the 1st of July, which again feeds into a lot of what we've been discussing, that his PSG contract doesn't officially come to end until the 30th of June. He gets his loyalty bonus then. So from the 1st of July, he can pretty much announce what he's doing. So it's not going to happen before then. It could happen on the 1st of July. And then the third one, which is probably what everyone wants to talk about the most, Pogba's agent, Raiola, obviously the same agent as Zlatan and Mkhitaryan, is going to Juventus, Italy tomorrow, speaking to Juventus. The topic apparently is Manchester United and Pogba. And that's out of the words of DiMarzio, who, to be fair, he's pretty good. Morning, Emma. Anyone doubting Draxler watches vs Wolfsburg in the Champions League group? I do want to talk about Draxler. Should we do Draxler now, and then we can talk a little bit more about Pogba? Let's do Pogba. Lorenzo Rodriguez. Pogba is slightly overhyped. I remember Pogba when he was at Manchester United, and I'm sure it was Stoke. I need to do my research on this. He had a few substitutions, but I'm sure he played a full 90 minutes, or he came on at half-time against Stoke around February time of the season that he left. And he absolutely bossed the midfield. How old would he have been then? 17, 18, 19? I think he's well suited to the Premier League. I don't think he's had a fantastic Euros. It'd be interesting to watch them play Ireland, see how he does. But nobody's had a great Euros. I mean, look at Lewandowski. Ronaldo's only just, he's had one game. The best players in world football have not had the great Euros. And I think that's a problem that you get with European international football. But come on, Pogba, come home, says Gungshi. I think Pogba would be a very good signing for Manchester United. He'd certainly be a stand-up signing for Manchester United to get Paul Pogba. And we're not in the Champions League, and we've been playing poor football for 2 years. It would totally be the Mourinho effect and what he brings to Manchester United. And I think whether Pogba happens or not, I'd still be in the camp that he's going to go to Madrid. But it just shows that this is what you get with Mourinho, and it's a whole new chapter in Manchester United where we can be optimistic. Yeah, we've still got Woodward. Apparently, Mourinho was saying yesterday, and I want your thoughts on this. This has come out. I mean, it's not definitely true, but it's come through a few papers that he's frustrated with Woodward and him not getting the deals done. But welcome to our world. We've had that for a long time. As for the Pogba deal, I would have said there's more chance of Arsenal winning the title than us getting Paul Pogba. But actually, I think it's starting to come around a little bit. Telegraph today saying £84 million sterling. I think around £80 million, I wouldn't be too fussed about. What I tweeted last night, and a few people got frustrated by, was when I said that Real Madrid is apparently going to pull out because if they break the world transfer record to sign him, it'll upset Ronaldo. I know they broke the world transfer record with Bale, but it's the package of that, and maybe I should have explained it better. It's the wages he'll demand will put him very, very close to Ronaldo, which Ronaldo doesn't like, and it puts him above the likes of Ramos, Bale and others, and it puts a lot of people out of joint, whereas Manchester United don't have that problem because we pay a ridiculous amount of 300 grand a week to Rooney, which is probably more than double what Rooney deserves. But if you pay Pogba £200,000 a week, it's not going to mess up our schedule, and we don't really have players who get moody about things like that anyway. So Pogba could happen. Let's keep an eye on it. Let's see what happens from this meeting tomorrow. My suspicion at this stage, and I won't change it, is that Madrid will just come in and blow us away, and they are Real Madrid, and the rumour is he wants to go to Madrid and he'll get Champions League football, and we can't compete with that. Whether it's Manchester United and Real Madrid in a fair fight, we haven't got the climate. But when we've not got Champions League football as well, it's difficult. Nitan says Pogba will cost 120 million, so we can get all our bases covered for that price. Yeah, I can sort of understand that. And if Pogba goes to Real Madrid, it potentially I don't want James Rodriguez, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, but it might free up a move for Kroos or Modric, who are good players. They're not sloppy second players like Di Maria and Rodriguez, who they don't want anymore. They are good players. I am Ollie7 said, Mark, what's your starting 11? There's a video. We did it about 3 or 4 ago about what my starting 11 is, so you can watch that. Julian Draxler then, Wolfsburg, German player in the German squad, funnily enough. I think he's 22 years of age. Lots of people like him, probably going to cost around £30 million. I don't really think there's anything in it. The rumours in the papers today are that we would go for him if the Mkhitaryan deal falls through. I don't think the Mkhitaryan deal is going to fall through. Draxler, more of a right-sided, left-sided midfielder. I think he can play at number 10, but he's more of a wide man, so you could get Mkhitaryan who can play at number 10 and have Draxler as well. I don't see us getting both. My issue with Draxler is the same as James Rodriguez or James Rodriguez. Give us your thoughts on Draxler. I want to know what you think. Gungshi saying Modric is still a terrific player. Mexican car wash, I'd send Kroos. Demarcio reporting Zlatan will sign on July the 1st, as Nitan. Yet we've covered that. I don't think he fits in the squad. He's too slow at the moment, says Extreme Gaming HD Boy. I presume you're talking about Draxler because that was going to be my thing. JD Gaming 123. I don't like Draxler. Don't see him in a United shirt. My issue with Draxler, apart from age, he's 22 and James Rodriguez is 25. They're exactly the same. They're more or less. The best way I can explain this is FIFA. Although I don't play FIFA a hell of a lot, but it's the best way I can explain it. If you've got your stats on FIFA, which are pretty good, you've got somebody like a Bale or a Ronaldo in his prime, or I'm trying to think of fast players, even Mkhitaryan, with Walcott, someone like that. Their speed rating is anywhere from the late 80s up to the mid 90s. They're fast, and that's what Manchester United need on the win, like we've got with Martial. The trouble with Draxler and Rodriguez is their pace rating would be down to the mid 70s, late 70s. Not fast enough is my problem. Draxler, very good dribbler, good off both feet, very creative, got a good shot on him, very good at passing, but he's not got the pace. And the same, James Rodriguez and Draxler are very, very similar. One's going to cost 50 million with Rodriguez, one's going to cost 30 million with Draxler. Draxler's probably the better value out of the two because he's half the price and he's 3 years younger and he can get better. But like KY Tox says, Draxler, no pace, not that strong and really a top player, but he's promising, both-footed like Henrik Mkhitaryan. Would rather have Mkhitaryan myself. If it's a choice between him and Mkhitaryan, it's got to be him. If we're thinking about getting him as well, my concern is, and I've been watching Manchester United obviously with all you lot for the last season, Talajaju says Draxler is an excellent dribbler, beats 1-2 men. Mata would never. He is an upgrade on Mata, but the thing we need is pace. We need pace in that side. We've got a lot of players like Herrera, Mata, Rooney, who can create things, but we're crying out for pace. I'm not against Rodriguez or Draxler coming to the team, but you've got to look at where the issues in the team are, and it's pace. It's 100% pace, not in the number 9 position, because I know someone's going to say Zlatan's slow. And I had this yesterday. Somebody said, Zlatan, why do you want Zlatan? You should get Rodriguez. He's much quicker. Zlatan's a number 9. He's there to hold the ball up. He plays brilliant with his back to the ball. He's an option in the box because he's 6'5". It's the pace going up beyond him when he holds it up and feeds them in is what we need. You can't just have Martial the only pace, because if Rooney plays at number 10, which he probably will do, you need a quick player on the right side. And for that reason, it can't be Draxler for me. We've got to get pace in there. And I'd rather get a Irving Lozano from Mexico, or Gabriel Jesus from Brazil. We need to get pace on the right side of the field. That is what I think about it. Gunshi, again, saying we need quick midfield. Maldora 1. Marino wants his 10s to be 8.5s too. Can James do defensive work? James, I don't know. Mata needs to go, to be honest. Love the man, but not good enough, Cornetto. I think that is probably the best sentence around Mata. We all love him, but I just don't think he's got what we need in that midfield to do what we need to do. If you've heard any other transfer credible news as you want us to discuss while we're on air, because we are on air for another few minutes, get it up there. Pereira, Henry G says Pereira is somewhat better. I know we had this argument yesterday because I said I'd rather have Pereira than Rodriguez, and people are like, oh, a top scorer in the World Cup, plays brilliant, he's at Real Madrid, you'd rather have Pereira. Yes. What's your problem with that? I think Pereira is a very good player. I've seen a lot of Pereira on the US tour last year, for the under-21s this year, even the season before that. I think he's ready. He just hasn't been. He got mugged off by Van Gaal. He asked for a move in January to go out on loan, and Van Gaal said, no, I'm going to use you. And then he never used him. He's wasted a year of that lad's career. I hope he either gets a good loan or he becomes part of the first team squad, because Pereira, he's not blessed with amazing pace, but he's that sort of Draxler, Rodriguez sort of player, and he can definitely become that good. So yes, I would rather. I'm definitely about the youth, and that's what Manchester United are, and that's what excites me slightly about us coming out of Europe, because it will bring them restrictions in. Jamie Rowe 12, Mbolo, what's happened? Well, according to you lot, he's not worth the money anyway. We don't know what's happening with that at the moment. As far as I'm concerned, United are still very interested. Let's just see what happens. But he has gone a bit quiet at the moment. They're out of the Euros, so I presume he'll be providing an update on his future very soon. Schweinsteiger would leave if we got Pogba. Yeah, there was something in the news today about Schweinsteiger leaving. However, the rumour is, to contrast to that, is that Mourinho has always been a massive fan of Schweinsteiger. You could flip that round and say everyone thinks that Schneiderlin will do really well under Mourinho. He's certainly got that Matic sort of player, another player suppressed by Louis van Gaal. With Mourinho managing him, I wouldn't go and buy Matic because I think Schneiderlin can do that job. But then you hear that Everton are willing to pay £20 million. Obviously, Koeman, Southampton, Schneiderlin used to be together a year ago. Schneiderlin, £20 million. Would you take it if you were going to get Pogba and Kroos? Then you probably would. Although I think Schneiderlin, has been very unlucky being managed by Van Gaal. There might be some harsh decisions like that. And all I would say about, if he does get rid of Schneiderlin, if he does get rid of Herrera, Schweinsteiger, Mata, he won't get rid of all of them. I'm just saying, if out of these players, he could get rid of some of them. I'd be disappointed. I'd be very angry with Van Gaal. I don't know what you think. I would be angry with Van Gaal that he misused those players. But this is a new manager. He wants to build his own legacy, and we have to trust the manager. He has to be given a year. Mourinho's got to be, no matter what happens, he's got to be given that, and he's got to be given that trust in the transfer market as well. Daily Star was on about Draxler. Yeah, exactly. So have a look. If we lose a lot of people want Kante. What I'd say about Kante is he does have a release clause, but it's for Champions League clubs. We're not a Champions League club. But like Alex was saying on the show the other day, if the Champions League clause is 25 million, why not offer 35 million? Because Leicester get another 10 million, and maybe we could do that. The Red Devils 22 by a right winger, striker, and another centre back, and United the team we have. I've said that before. I don't think it's about Galacticos. Don't know what you think. I think it's about getting the right players in for the team. We've got a lot of players suppressed by Van Gaal. I keep saying it, so they'll be better next year. But there are 2 or 3 positions where we do need players. Hopefully Zlatan comes in. That's the number 9. We don't really need anybody else. We've got Rashford. We've got Martial. We've got options like Rooney if we really needed it. We need a right midfielder, and they've got to have pace. It's all right saying Rodriguez and Draxler. They've got to have pace. This is what I think. We probably need another midfielder, whether that's Pogba, whether it's Toni Kroos, whether it's Andre Gomez, let's see. And I think we need another centre-back as well. And then we are sorted. And I would get rid of Rojo, Jones and Fellaini. Those 7 signings would be perfect for me. I still want Manolas as centre-back, but we have apparently bid for him, but Roma are desperately trying to get him to sign. Let's have a little sip, if you don't mind, because I'm talking a lot here. Andre Gomez has sort of gone off the roll a bit there, I think Bryn was saying, but Farouk Mkhitaryan looks like a done deal. I definitely think so. Is Draxler much better than Mata, says Will Rocks? He's better at running past players. I mean, Mata's no right midfielder. Draxler can run past players, so he would be an upgrade on Mata, but he wouldn't give us that pace that we need. Isco, Bailey and I can never get his game. Young lad, Swansea, Will. Yannisai shouldn't be sold, says Breg. I would sell Yannisai. Jamie Rowe mentioning Yannisai. The thing about Yannisai is he had 1 good season under Moyes. He's had 2 bad seasons. For a young player, that's piss poor, really poor. And he can't use the excuse of Van Gaal. He's had opportunities. Van Gaal played him 4 games in a row in his first season, 4 games in a row in his second season. He went to Dortmund. He's had a lot of opportunities. Yannisai can turn it round, but if he's sold, he's only got himself to blame. He probably needs to go to the Championship or a lower level Premier League club and just start his career again and see if he can work his way back. But he's on the ropes, Yannisai. Andre Gomez was taken off for Renato Sanchez. Very interesting, Varun. Came out yesterday. Mourinho wanted Renato Sanchez. Woodward dithered over it because he didn't want to make it obvious that they were sacking Van Gaal. Obviously, Van Gaal didn't know he was sacked until after the FA Cup. Does he not read the papers? We all knew he was going. And so they knew that if they bought Renato Sanchez before then, then it would undermine Van Gaal and cause problems. So they dithered. Bayern Munich came in and bought Renato Sanchez. As Rummenigge said a couple of weeks ago, they never should have got Renato Sanchez. He should have been going to Manchester United, but they dithered and they got the deal done quickly. Thanks, Ed Woodward. Brilliant. Sanchez looks like an absolute star. Brilliant. Absolutely superb. That's what you get with Woodward, but hopefully with Mourinho in charge now, we can be more positive, because I don't think he'll put up with the nonsense that everybody else seems to put up with Woodward, just because he can do noodle deals. Schneidlin to Everton, picking up steam. We've touched on that. What's Januzaj's best position, says Karen Deep? I would say probably somewhere in Europe, not in a Manchester United shirt. Fosu, Smalling. A lot of people think Fosu Mensah could play in the midfield next season. I think Fosu Mensah and Rashford have got a very good future, and I would not be looking at loaning out Fosu Mensah at all. Do we think Bailly will start? There's a lot of talk that Bailly might play on the right back. Yuri Tillemans in place of Sanchez, is he? That's very quiet. No link to him at all. I know he's a very good player on FIFA, but there is no link. Ross Harrington, did you hear about me being annoyed with Woodward's slow transfers? Yeah, we touched on that, Ross, a few minutes ago. Welcome to our world is what I'd say. We've had this for a long time. And my one fear really is that this Paul Pogba deal could end up being like the Ramos and Pedro deals of last summer, like Fabregas before, like Vidal before. They go on and on and on. And we end up losing out, and we waste most of the summer on a deal that actually just frustrates the fans because we get links all year and then we mess it up. Has he ever played at right back, says the Red Devils 22, talking about Bailly? Yes, he has. Schneidlin will stay. I think he will, says Yashas. Mark, do you think Roshan Williams should become a right back? He's a very good player. Will he make the step up this year? I don't know. I think Mourinho. I think the young players Mourinho needs to focus on this year are Fosu Mensah, Rashford, and Pereira. I think everybody else may have to do with League Cup games, because let's remember, we've got to get. We want to challenge for a title, but we've got to get top four. So you've got to give Mourinho a little bit of leeway. Pogba is now at 4-1 on Football Whispers to come to Manchester United. That's still massive odds. Although you could get 8-1 on a leave from Europe. So who knows. There's a lot of exciting things, really. A lot of you talking about the current squad at the moment. Luke Shaw's like a new signing, says Tom Brown. I only realised yesterday, and I don't know whether you lot know this, Luke Shaw's 6'1". I cannot believe it. He is 6'1". I'd always thought he was like a small, typical fullback, very fast going forward. 6'1". I mean, what an absolute... It made me really smile, because what a real bonus that is. He's a bonus in our box. He's a bonus in the opposition box. It makes him really strong, but he's very fast. He's a big unit. I think it's absolutely superb. So Luke Shaw is like a new signing. There was some confusion about whether he had a future at Manchester United. In fact, it's up on our website. I didn't write it, but it's a good article. But 100%, he is like a new signing. He was superb at the start of last year. I just hope he can get back from that injury. Herrera should stay, says Lorenzo. I think so. There's rumours about Darmian going, which I think would probably divide a lot of you lot, but I would definitely keep Darmian. I think there's just a number of players in that squad that if Mourinho got rid of them, he'd sort of go, well, we trust him, whatever. They didn't have a great season last year. But on from that, I think if there's a lot of players who deserve a second chance, and Darmian, Schneidlin, Schweinsteiger, there's loads of them who deserve a second chance. Memphis, because they were so suppressed by Van Gaal, whether it was through the way they were allowed to play or being in and out of the team, being moved around positions. And let's be fair to Darmian, he was all over the shop, played well, then was dropped, then was at left back, played well, get dropped, make a couple of mistakes, get dropped. So, yeah, I think Darmian deserves a chance. And I don't want to sign in Chelsea players anyway. I really don't. I think even my Willian hope is sort of faded now because they want 60 million. He's not worth that. So I'd rather we went and bought anybody else. So I've got no interest in any Chelsea players at all. How about Ashley Fletcher? Apparently he's going to go to Leeds, youth player. Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, yeah, give him a chance. Understudy to... a lot happens. A lot depends on Daley Blind. I don't think Daley Blind's a first-team player. There's that rumour that he could go. If we can get 20 million for Daley Blind, I think it's good business. It was very loyal to Van Gaal. If we can keep him, I think he's a great squad player because he can play centre-back, left-back and defensive midfield. So I'd like Blind to stay, but if he goes, he goes. Mark Andre Schürrle says that Jose will sign lots of players this season. Mark Goldbridge says Jose Mourinho will sign a lot of players this season, and I'm a United fan, so I think as are most of you, so I'd get involved with that. But just to summarise quickly for those who've joined late, Di Marzio basically saying Zlatan by the end of the week, Mkhitaryan by the end of the week, and Pogba talks start tomorrow with Juventus and his agent, and the topic is Manchester United. So there's 3 big ones. Draxler's sort of being linked. I'm not a big fan because of lack of pace. I don't know what you lot think. I think we need pace in that right midfield position. You've got Zlatan up front who isn't pace, but he's all about back to goal and an option in the box when you want to put the ball in. But he needs players running on beyond him. If you've got Mkhitaryan and Martial, great. We need one on the right who's got pace. And who knows, Lingard could suddenly put 2 stone on because he is going to grow out. What's Lingard's future? I think he's got to be a squad player, but you never know. He might just have a spurt into a really good player. Is Pogba possible, says I am Ollie7. Personally, I don't think so. I think Madrid will come in and won't want to be beaten. But everything at the moment suggests that we are trying to get the deal done, which I'm sure we are. But I just worry that it's going to be a Ramos, Pedro, Fabregas spending a lot of time on a big deal that we're not going to happen. And then I think we've got every right to be frustrated again because we go for these deals that just, we're trying to flex our muscles, but we end up looking weak. But if we pull it off, I'll be absolutely amazed, and it will be the stand-up signing of the summer. We would have won the treble if Luke Shaw didn't get injured, says Cornetto. I don't think we would have won the treble. Louis van Gaal was still in charge with his defensive football, but we might have done slightly better. Draxler plus Herrera, hold on, need to change my pants, says Talarjo, sorry. MUFC needs to buy Marco Main. Pogba won't happen, says Lorenzo. Do you really think Pogba wants to come, says Turtle? I don't know. I mean, there's 2 schools of thought on that. There's a lot of people saying he wants to go La Liga. And I can understand why people want to go to Real Madrid and Barcelona because the lifestyle, the climate is fantastic. But then there's that other flip side of the coin that a lot of people, personally, I'd be of this mind as well. He was at Manchester United. He obviously enjoyed it there. He was a young lad. He got a bit frustrated. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't like agents. His agent falls out. He gets a move to Juventus for free, makes a lot of money. But if he liked his time at Manchester United, then surely some people, and I would be the same, they've got that desire in them to go back to somewhere they enjoyed and do it the way you wanted it to be done, because he never proved himself at Manchester United. And maybe inside him, he's like, I like Manchester. I like Manchester United. I want to go back there and prove what I can do and show those people who didn't believe in me what I can do. And that could happen. It could happen. Or he could just think, sod it, I want to go and play for Real Madrid and have an easy life, because I don't care what anybody says. Real Madrid or Barcelona may be better than every side in the Premier League, but the Premier League is a better league and a harder league to win. And Barcelona or Real Madrid playing in the Premier League, I don't think they'd win it, because they're playing. It's like Scotland, Celtic and Rangers, but it's in the sun. Atletico Madrid have vastly improved, but under that, I mean, Villarreal came 4th and Liverpool totally took them apart. So it's an easy life in Real Madrid. That's why the likes of Messi and Ronaldo, as much as they are the best players in the world, they get about 8 hat-tricks a season. He wouldn't get 2 hat-tricks in the Premier League, because that's not, the Premier League is way too competitive. And there you go. Nimel says, sell Blind, Schneiderlin, Mata, Memphis, Phil Jones, buy Zlatan, Mkhitaryan, Pogba, Bonucci, Neymar. Yeah, I wasn't happy with that at first, because I thought you're getting rid of too many, but you know what, Neymar, could that happen? I don't know. I don't want to waste too much time with it, but we'll see. Karen Deep says Pogba's best mates with Januzaj, Depay and Lingard. Don't know how he knows Memphis, but there you go. Lewis Batchelor, is there a show tonight? Not a live show, but there is a very interesting show to watch at 9 o'clock that I'll have up for you. Do watch that. As usual, we don't skirt the big issues. It's a debate again. It's more for you lot, but do watch it. It will go up at 9 o'clock. It won't take you long to watch, but I'm sure a few of you will be very happy. A few of you will be on the comments, I'm sure, but that's what we do it for. There was a question in there about Brexit. We've sort of covered Brexit and the leaving of Europe. The 2 positives of it for football is that every player that we sign will have to play 30% of their games for their national team, and we won't be able to scout up players under 18 from Europe anymore, which means there'll be more of the focus on British youth, which I think is a good thing, because that's what Manchester United have always been about. Stuart Marson, very good question. Where do you think Rooney will play? Sort of leads into a video we're doing in the next few days, so we'll keep that back. What other centre-back is possible, says I am Ollie. I want Manolas from Roma. John Stones, I did want to sort of touch on him. Man City are blabbing on about John Stones, but let's not forget Mourinho got very close to signing him for Chelsea last August. I wouldn't think anything's changed for Mourinho. John Stones, the rumour is that he supports Manchester United. He's very impressed with Mourinho. I think he should go. There we go. Red Devil 22. I remember subscribing when this channel had 1,000 subs. Thanks for that. Thanks for everybody in getting involved anyway. I love doing these videos because it's just totally interactive with the comment section, which is what makes it so good. Please do drop us a like, because remember, you're the stars of the show as much as I am. And please subscribe to the United Stand. Daily content at the moment, a lot of it around transfers, which is what I think where this channel comes into its own because of the interaction. So there we go. I'm going to shoot off. My coffee's gone cold, but thanks for watching. Really enjoyed that video, and we'll have plenty more. Everything going off daily at the moment, and I think we might be in for. I think once this week's out of the way, you hit July the 1st, things are going to start happening, because officially that's when the transfer window opens properly, although deals can be done before then. And I think July the 1st might be a very interesting day for Zlatan to Manchester United. But cheers, everybody. Watch the video at 9 o'clock that's going up. And if you're not watching live, do get commenting below. And what I'm also going to do is put in the video description, I'll put some little links to like Draxler, Mkhitaryan and Pogba, just so you can see what sort of players they are on one of them YouTube things. But please drop us a like. Thanks everybody watching. Really enjoyed it, and speak to you all very soon with daily content on the United Stand. I hate that sound, but cheesy, but you know what I mean.